1975, Ann Arbor was the first U.S. city to use preferential voting to elect a mayor.
This was used in Ann Arbor for one election cycle and then repealed in 1976. Two-thirds of the folks said we don't want anything to do with this.
That was the one and only time Ann Arbor voted in a black mayor, Albert Wheeler. So, and immediately after that, the whiteness circled the wagons and changed the city charter so that ranked choice voting was no longer allowed.
They had the preferential vote in Ann Arbor was for that one election that he won. And he won because the minor party didn't reach the number of votes they needed to actually be counted. So their second choice votes were counted in that election. And Dad won with the second choice votes.
We passed what was the first fair housing law in the state of Michigan.
Powell counted the formation of the Ann Arbor chapter of the NAACP among his first victories.
It was 1960, and our local chapter decided we had a taste of success in Ann Arbor. So I was asked to put together a proposal. So I took it over to Governor John Swainson's office, and he wasn't in. And I put it on his desk with a note, if you think it's worthwhile, would you get the signatures we need? And out of that has come what is now the Michigan Department of Civil Rights.
We are going to be able to do something about implementation of civil rights through the kind of power of voting and political action. And I think that that's what's going to have to be done.
In 1975, Ann Arbor was the first U.S. city to use preferential voting to elect a mayor. Dr. Al Wheeler beat incumbent Mayor Jim Stevenson by a slim margin of 121 votes.
And then it was all fraught the entire time he was mayor.
Lawsuits trying to rule preferential voting unconstitutional failed, but efforts to have the city stop using the measure in the future worked.
Washtenaw County is the 8th most racially segregated county in the United States, and Ann Arbor City has contributed to that racial segregation.
It was tried in Ann Arbor in 1974, and it was such a disaster that 2 years later it was repealed by the voters.
There are now well-funded groups actively trying to, in their words, clean up the voter rolls. Members of her group have, among other things, been scrutinizing voter rolls, looking for anyone they think shouldn't be on there. In one Zoom session, an activist from the Detroit area suggested searching rolls for certain types of surnames, saying that, I think it's unfortunate, but sometimes the only way you can find out is to look for ethnic names.
It's an tired old communist idea that just keeps rearing its ugly head